I'm still trying.
I watched you go from a window down below. In jest, you'd say it's the last time you'd walk away. Why does anybody ever go? I don't know. I don't know. Why couldn't I just raise my voice to say, don't go, please stay for at least one more day.
Hello and welcome. It's The Art of Giving Up, your podcast for giving up bad days, bad ways, unfortunate habits, bad relationships, friendships, fatty foods, whatever you want. As always, I'm your host Steven, and this week we talking about that almighty dollar bill, y'all.
Now plays an awfully silent song, and your notebook cries for just one more of your poems.
Well, today I was listening, as I'm wont to do, to some music by Kendrick Lamar. I was listening to To Pimp a Butterfly or whatever. There's a song on there called what is the name of the song? What the dollar cost, right? And I don't know. I'm sitting there and I was thinking about like how I don't have no job, I ain't got no money, I've been destitute my whole life. You know, the things that if you listen, you know already. I'm poor, I'm black, blah blah blah. That's just the nature of the beast, right? Or whatever. But I was really thinking about how not only am I dirt poor, but how important and how much money means to me and how much a dollar is worth to me. Because I remember a time when I was like 18 and 19 and I was dating this girl. When I was 19, she was 17. We were so broke. And we used to go around the Fordham Library area in the Bronx and be like, yo, I gotta get a quarter, can I get a quarter? And we would like get like $1 together and we would split $1. We would go to the store and get one Little Debbie and one bag of chips each. You know, we would spend all day spanging and getting money together so that we can share a plate of Chinese food. Even though I had a home and I had a mother who loved me, would feed me, you know, her situation wasn't as fortunate. And, you know, at that age, I guess I decided instead of being home insecure, I wanted to be out in the streets, not doing drugs, not gang banging, but just being like, you know, I mean, we were poor at home. I'm gonna say we had money and nothing like that because we ended up getting evicted, and I did it up on the street. But at the time, I just, you know, I guess I wanted to starve. I guess, you know, but even though, in a way, I put myself in that situation, the reality is that every dollar in my life has had great value. See, when I was a child, I didn't know how poor we were. I didn't realize how destitute we were. Though in context, if you look at my mother, my single mother, my mother who raised me by herself, you'll see that, of course, we had no money. Of course, considering the fact that my father, while present, worked at McDonald's, and our family is very small, and my mother, even though she finished high school and went to college, you know, was working as a secretary, was not making big money, you know. I didn't realize how destitute we were. And I'm not sure if I've told this story before, but I remember, for example, things like on Christmas going to sleep and waking up to a house full of toys. And I remember always having and getting seconds and having food and having things. But it didn't occur to me, and I didn't realize until I was older, of course, that in order for me to have that, my mother had to starve. She had to go without so that I could have. So no matter how fortunate I feel, the reality of the situation is that every dollar that was spent during my childhood had great, like a lot of emotion and a lot of like value to it, because it's more than just a dollar. And when you're poor, money means everything. And people with money, especially like money doesn't solve your problems. And a lot of people I know who are poor are like, well, it's all about being happy. But the reality is that when you're where I am right now, where you are, where a lot of people are right now, where you are not even going paycheck to paycheck, where you are in debt with yourself, where you're in debt with everyone, where you have no money, where you are struggling and wondering where your next bite to eat is coming from, then what you see is money means everything. Money means everything. And unfortunate for me, I'm one of those people for what money means everything. Money to me is almost more than friendships and love. To me, money is more than education and experience. I would do anything for some money. And when people will talk and they tell you about like they don't understand why people be gangbanging and thugging and selling drugs and doing this, that, and the third, they don't realize that for some people, like the lives we live, we don't talk about it, but a dollar is worth more than a life sometimes. And I remember years ago, one of my closest friends, his father was in prison for like 15 years because he like shot or stabbed someone to death or something over like $5. And I remember being a child and being like, $5, me, why would you do that? When the reality is that there have been periods of my life where maybe I would have done the same if, I don't know, I didn't want to go to prison. We live in a world where you need money to survive. And yes, I know I have a lot of friends who are like communists or whatever, but the reality is that we live in a society where even if you lived on a commune, you'd pay taxes on the land and you would use money to buy goods from others outside of your community. This is the reality of the world that we live in today. This is the life that we live today. This is the world that exists in reality. We need money. We need more. We need money more than friendship, more than anything, because there is almost nothing else. When you've lived where I've lived in the life that I've lived, a dollar is worth more than a life. And that's sad. It's sick. But it's the truth. And it's easy to pretend. For example, I used my taxes last year to get this microphone. I used some of the money before my grandfather died to buy this Zoom H5 or whatever, and this Behringer whatever mic, mixer thing from Amazon, and I'm in debt for my cell phone and all these things. And sometimes it's easy to sit here and look at my TV and play that Xbox and sit at this mic and pretend that not every dollar that touches my hand is important. Because if I miss 1 week of work, I'm homeless. 1 day of work, I'm hungry. This is the reality of a dollar. No matter how much I like to pretend, and I know people would be like, well, blah, 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 you're such a bad person, but I'm really trying to be honest and say that, like, there have been moments where I would have taken life for $5. I remember when, and again, I might have told this story before. I tell this story a lot. I remember sleeping on the train. I was so hungry. It's before I had a job where I was sleeping on the train, but there was a period where I didn't for like 5 months, whatever. I was so hungry. And I remember looking out the train window and seeing the delivery guy, Chinese food, on a bike, walking up to a building. I remember thinking to myself, I could run up to him and I could hurt him and I could take the food and the money. And if I was a different person, I would have. If I was somebody else, I would have hurt that person. And I know your takeaway might be like, what, the food. And yes, I was thinking about the food. But I was really thinking about that money. Because that money means not just food, but cleanliness and security and affection. You see, money I put sometimes above all else, because it's hard to feel like someone can love you when you have nothing. You can't eat, share, feed yourself or others if you have no money. So even though we live in this world of like whatever, cell phones and technology, and even though I've ranted before about how just because you have a phone, that means you can do a lot, and it's true. But it doesn't change the fact that when you get to where I am, to when I look around the people that I love so much and I see how much they hurt for $1, when I see how much they're willing to give up, how much they're willing to take, how much they're willing to sacrifice for $1, for one moment of peace and security, when I feel that, I understand how much $1 costs. I know that I have nothing, and I know that going forward I need to do something. I need to change or progress. I need something to happen. Because I don't want to put money over people anymore. I want to love people for everything that they are. But unfortunately, for where I am right now, I can't. For where I am right now, money is everything. But there's always tomorrow. I want to thank you again for joining me on this solo rant again, for allowing me to open up my heart, for me to share everything that is me with you. And I hope that you don't live the life that I have and that I do. I hope that you are never worried about where you're gonna sleep tomorrow or what you're gonna eat. And if you are, I wish nothing but the best. because a dollar is just a dollar. You're a person and you matter so much. I love you so much. I'm here for you. This is what we have to do. Remember, if you guys want to interact, of course, as always, Facebook, Art of Giving Up. Twitter, DA, Art of Giving Up. Instagram, Art of Giving Up. And Gmail, Art of Giving Up Podcast @gmail.com. I don't have anything, but I swear, if you reach out to me, maybe if it's just for a word of encouragement, or for my last dollar, I got you. Just remember, we're all in this together. We're all moving towards, striving towards, creating towards, being driven towards one thing. And I hope we find it soon. Peace.
What if I move?